Hello and welcome to another episode of Open Mic. Tonight's topic is fear of fear. I think it caught a lot of eyes and people were like interested to see about it, to hear about it actually. I'm your host Ramsey Chiri. I'm an intuitive healer and a psychic medium. And today, I wanted to change the opening, and I said, let me put my website and let's have a virtual coffee one day. And you can go on the website and click for a 15-minute free chat with me. We can have a coffee or a drink, whatever you'd like. and I'd like to introduce my co-host, Tanis Coughlin. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Tanis. I'm from the Twilla Lifestyle community, Twilla Lifestyle Academy. I am, like Ramsey, an intuitive energy healer, Reiki master, all that stuff, crystal healer, Celtic shamanic high priestess, galactic ambassador, that kind of stuff.
Plus.
I do stuff.
So tonight's show is going to be interesting. It's about fear. What is fear? And how we can get rid of it. So I thought we'll just chit chat to figure out what fear is. Fear, well, if you open up the dictionary, fear is just an emotion that comes out when we're running from a saber-toothed tiger. It comes out.
Which hopefully we don't have too many of those around anymore. But
yeah, or a tiny little spider. We do run away from that and we start screaming our head off. So fear is something that we kind of conditioned ourselves to have. Although it's a natural thing, it's a defense mechanism, but most of the time it's not. Actually, there's nothing to be afraid of because we don't have a saber-toothed tiger waiting behind the bush anymore. We might have a spider, but it's not going to eat us. But we kind of develop.
I don't know. There's some places in the world they might. Just saying.
Let me tell you, in Australia, everything eats you. Like I'm at the bottom of the food chain. And it's not fun.
No, for the most part, we'll say that it's not. We're not, for the most part, like I would say like 98% of the time, we're not in physical danger when we have fear.
No, you're absolutely right. We are not in a physical danger. Even like if you say fire is a physical danger, but we open up fire every day and we cook, but we're not afraid of it. So what triggers that fear in us of moving forward, of doing stuff? And that's the thing that we would like to discuss. And if you guys have any questions regarding that, or you want to inquire about anything, please let us know. Put it in the chat down there, and we'll get to you as soon as we can. So, Tanis,
Yes, sir.
Fear in general.
Fear is a low vibration emotion. The lowest, really. It's actually a base emotion to a whole bunch of other stuff. So when people get frustrated or angry, there's a base fear at play. Right? So I know with my clients, I'll often take them through like a root cause analysis, like what we do in business, ask them the 5 whys, because usually the reason they were triggered or upset is not really the reason that is creating it. And usually it's a base fear. So the example I often give is somebody comes to me and they were triggered in traffic. So I'm like, okay, well, let's go through the 5 whys. Why were you triggered? Well, because I was going to be late. It was backed up. Okay, why does that matter? Because the people at the other end are going to be upset with me. Why does that matter? Well, they won't want to be friends with me. Okay, why does that matter? Well, I don't want to lose friends. Why? I don't want to be alone. Oh, so we have a fear of abandonment that is actually creating the anxiety in traffic. Right. So it's and there's some base fears, right? You've got like your fear of abandonment, fear of like there is the safety fear. People have fear about physical safety, even if it's not founded, like even if they're not really in physical safety issue or physically unsafe at the time. Sometimes we have those and they're not necessarily grounded in what's happening now because it could be programming from a previous time. what's the other one? Abandonment and
Not being
oh my goodness, it's escaping me. Can you think of another one that's a base fear?
not being loved.
Yes.
That's a key one also.
Yeah.
Key one is like, oh my God, they're not gonna love me.
Yeah.
And I'm well, it ends up to being alone. So people have this a strong emotional fear that actually crushes their inside out of that.
Hmm.
Seen that a lot. We okay. When I say seen, it doesn't mean that didn't go through it. I just want to make it clear to everybody. We've all been through this at certain
Hmm.
level within our lifespan, and we also still go through it unconsciously at a lower level. Once you understand it, it just starts to slow down. It doesn't go away, but it starts to slow down, and you have a control over it at the end of the day. So it won't control you, which usually strong emotions they tend to control the person at the end of the day. I was actually listening to Alan Watt the other day regarding fear, and I thought it was interesting. And he goes, if you have the ability to dream your life every night, let's say 75 or 80 years of a lifespan in one night, you start by dreaming your life to have everything that you need, everything that you desire, and you make it so beautiful and wonderful and perfect. And as time goes along, it gets boring.
I was just going to say that sounds pretty boring, actually.
Well, it starts to get boring, so you introduce a hiccup within that dream, and it becomes interesting. And over time, you continue adding more stuff to it to make it more interesting and more interesting. And you end up dreaming that the life that you are in today. So, along our lifespan, what we tend to do is fear what's going to happen, fear of changing jobs, fear of moving into a different city, fear of everything.
Hmm.
And we want to imagine our life living in heaven, harps and I don't know, trumpets and everything is so beautiful and
I haven't seen those up there. I'm just saying. Have you? Not that I remember. I could have blocked that part. I'm just saying. It's.
So we need excitement in our life, and excitement comes in different forms. Excitement comes in a form of a stress. It comes in a form of fear. That's an excitement. That's what keeps us moving forward. That's what excites us. And if you look at the physical syndrome of fear, they're identical to excitement.
Yep.
You have that butterfly in your stomach, it might contract, you're not sure what you're gonna do, and you're actually your muscles get tense. And they're both at a different level
Hmm.
and they have the same symptoms. So you might even be um, mixing your emotions of excitement with your emotions of fear.
Yep.
And that I found to be interesting because we don't realize what we're doing. We sit there and we scare ourselves.
It's true.
Turn off the light. And a lot of people were just like, oh my God, I saw something in the corner. Okay. Why did you see it in the corner? Why isn't it right next to your, table lamp? Oh, because there's nothing over there. But there's nothing over there. It's just our minds start to play tricks on us and keeps us on the edge, kind of thing. I also I also read this somewhere. I can't remember where it is, but ghosts. Since we're both what do you call Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters. Yeah. Somewhat.
So what happens is that people fear ghosts.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I saw a ghost somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, no, I'm not gonna go into that. There was a comedian that said that. I'm not gonna go through it, but
Family show, Ramsey. Family show.
Yeah. What uh, um, what gives the ghost power and makes it grow and makes it actually fearful is the fear that you inject into the ghost itself, taking away your strength and giving it to something that is unmanifested in front of you. On a regular day, you pass through ghosts like almost everywhere, and
Yeah.
you don't even notice them. But then you end up there's a dark corner somewhere, and it's like, dear Lord, you know. And then you start sweating, and then looking for places to run, and is anybody gonna save me? And of course, you do the rosary 5 times before you get to a safe place.
Yeah. Well, I think part of that is because of our programming, right? The
Yes.
programming that we've had from Hollywood, that we've had from books, media, that ghosts are scary and they should be feared, right? Well, ghosts are like people. So if I always tell people, if you're afraid to go to the mall, then I understand why you're afraid of ghosts. But if you can go to the mall or the grocery store and not be fearful, it's the same thing,
It's the same thing.
right? I mean, perhaps there are more people, they may be a little bit more emotionally charged. I have found in my experience, sometimes ghosts are a little bit more emotionally charged because they're upset if they know they're dead. And they're often here because there's an energetic charge there. But it doesn't mean that it's something to be scared of. Just because somebody else is upset doesn't mean we're scared of them, right? So I think that's something that we need to bring forward, that it's really that's our programming, and that's the media and everything as well. It's the same thing with like witches, right? The media has portrayed it, and our of course the witch trials and stuff in the history, so it sits in our collective, that they're bad, right? But really, if you look into it, they're not. They're actually, they were the healers. They were wise women of the time, back in the witch days and everything, right? Still are. But they were wise women, and they were wise women because they were they were some of the few that were actually able to read and write.
They're medicine women.
Exactly. Because they wrote in their books all the stuff that they did so they could keep track.
Yeah.
So it's really about context. Fear is all about context. How do we frame something that it becomes fearful for us? And that's programming, whether it's from the media, whether it's from experience that was perhaps misunderstood, or, there are anomalies. So like there are people that do bad magic, that does happen. But it's the same sort of thing as going to the mall, right? It's a very small percentage of people at the mall that are bad people, like 1%, if that. And it's the same with everything. So we take that 1% and we start seeing everybody with the same lens. That tends to be what happens for us when the programming thing starts, right? And so when we do that, it's almost like a discrimination thing, right? Because we start painting everybody with the same lens. Oh, well, they do that particular practice, so they must be like this 1% over here. Well, no, because everybody has their own practices, right? Everybody does things their own way. And that could be said about anything. Yeah. I think that we're all beautifully unique in our own way. And, the sooner that we can all accept that and step into that, the more loving we can be of each other's differences and similarities.
Absolutely. And how you take the power out of a ghost? Don't be afraid of it. It disappears.
It does. Or you can call us. We cross them over. That's all. We just show them where to go.
That's listening in, wishing you both. That's from Susan.
Hi, Susan.
Hi, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So what we also do, what was it? Oh, yes. Politicians. I said I'm not going to talk about it, but I said, no, no, no.
Whoa,
Get
we're
it,
going there, are we? All
get it
right.
out. One of the things that they do and they're good at is they use fear
Mhm.
to, um, unfortunately, to separate people. And by doing that, there's the us and the them, and the fear grows.
Mhm.
And what politicians do, they capitalize on that in order to get the votes and be reelected.
So I think that if we're going to talk that way, I think we need to take that back a few centuries, right? Because that's where the fear started. If we go back, and we talk about, and yeah, I'm going to go to the other one, religion. Um, if we talk about some of the main religions, and I'm not going to name any specific ones, but when we talk about some of the main religions, some of them were actually formulated by politicians or by magistrates of the time. And there were parts of religion that was actually brought in to help control people, because it was felt that people were not good. So they had to be controlled. They had to be told what to do. We need to make sure that everybody treats everybody well. So instead of dealing with this particular person over here, that 1%, we're going to tell everybody they have to do this. Well, guess what, guys? We still have that 1%,
Yeah.
right? And now everybody's fearful that they're like going to hell, or that there's something behind every corner,
Yeah, absolutely. I
or
think
that the world is going to fall, or that the witches are bad, and there's it's the same sort of thing, right? It was all sort of that whole leading through fear goes back centuries and centuries.
yeah, absolutely.
It's a systems problem. So I just wanted to make sure that we were clear about that. Like, I don't want any comments about political debates on who's the best leader and all of this stuff. It's definitely like it's a systems issue, and that once you start that leading through fear, it's extremely difficult to lead otherwise,
Yeah, yes,
to
yes.
change that.
And the
So
only way you could see through it is through a shock.
yeah.
And I think I was in China at one point in time. I was reading that article during the revolution, and the empire fell, and the what do you call it? Communism took over. They programmed certain people on how to do things, and if you don't follow us, you're against us. So one lady was actually so entrenched into it.
Oh,
Oh, sorry. I'll get my mic close to me. Hello, can you hear me better?
yes.
All right. So I'll
I have
keep
to
my
turn
mic.
you up too.
I'll keep my mic close to me all the time. So, so if you don't follow us, you're against us, and we have to beat you up. And this lady picked up a stick, and face blue smiling. Oh,
Face blue
okay,
smile.
better. Good.
Are you seeing my guide, Betsy? I have a blue Pleiadian, so I'm wondering if she's seeing him. Oni smiles a lot.
So while she's doing her job because that's the right thing to do, so she picked up a stick and she was beating another woman, and she noticed that that person started bleeding, and it gave her this. She was actually in a state of shock. She dropped the stick and she ran back into her village. She left Beijing and ran back to the village and never returned there. And it was a traumatic event that made her see beyond those formulated propaganda, if you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
the fear that was entrenched in them at that time. And she freed herself and went back to her village and lived a normal life. So there's that where you break from the norm, if you want to call it. But let's just bring back the discussion
Group mind. Mm.
into the fear of moving forward, which is a big thing.
Yeah.
And people, well, there's also clients and stuff, but they tend to die in a job that they hate rather than looking for another job somewhere else. And the reason is always, what if? What if I don't find something? What if I don't get the what if? There are million excuses, and none of them will materialize.
Hmm.
None of them. If you get an opportunity and you sleep on the opportunity and the opportunity feels good, experience it. Go for it. See what happens. I'll tell you, that was long time ago, but in 1991, I left my country and I came to Canada. And I didn't speak the language. My sentence had 3 languages in it: Arabic, English, French. They didn't make any sense whatsoever. And
So
it
it's
was,
just franglais. It's like
yeah, well, it's
I don't even know how to,
Franglish.
I don't even know how to put that into one word.
I'm trying to put the Arabic in there, but it was not fitting. But I did it. Was it easy? No. It was extremely hard. The food was different. The culture was different. The weather is, oh God, the weather. Let's not go there.
Yeah, we just had a snowstorm today. I get it. Yeah.
And the minus 43 a week or so ago. But thank God I was in India. It was plus 26. But just to throw it in there. But the thing is, I took that leap of faith, and that's what it is. It's a leap of faith. I felt deep inside that this is where I'm supposed to go. This
Mhm.
is what I'm supposed to do. And I did it. Was it easy? No. Was it hard? Bloody excruciating. Am I better today than I was back then? And if I stayed in Lebanon, would I have been better off over there? No.
You might not be here.
I might not be here, but I won't be better off if I stayed over there. I would have stayed in my fear
Mhm.
of moving forward. Maybe I would have gotten a good job and whatever, but the economy collapsed, the banking system collapsed, the government is bankrupt, and there's nothing left in the country. So if I stayed, would I have been better? I don't think so. Am I better off over here? Of course, yes, I am better off. So it takes that leap of faith. It takes overcoming your fears, your fear of fear,
Mhm.
and moving forward.
Yeah. Well, for me, that's the entrepreneur journey, right?
Yeah.
I left like a management job to start my own business. Did that scare the crap out of me? Absolutely. Right? I was very much like, okay, I need a job because I've got benefits, because I've got, regular pay, because. And then I jumped in. Am I happier? Absolutely. I love what I do now. I wasn't happy before. Now I love what I do. Like you said, was it easy? No.
I highly doubt. If you said easy, I would have said nope.
Nope. Is it still? Not always.
Yeah.
But I love what I do. And that is the opposite of fear, right?
Yeah.
Love is the opposite of fear. It's the highest vibration emotion.
Absolutely.
And so that's how we move through them. Not easy. Simple,
No.
but not easy. Right?
It's not easy, but you can overcome it to a. Okay. It's like in school or a university, you have to take an exam in order to graduate to the next level. Is it easy to take the exam? No. You struggle, you sweat, you get to the exam, you're so scared all day long, writing, and oh my God, did I miss this? Did I miss that? And you continue with your fear for a week until the results are out. Once they're out, you passed, you go on to the next level, as if that one wasn't there at all. That
It's
fear
true.
just went away. It's gone.
Yeah.
I did that. How many years at school? Is it 12, 14? I can't remember. Plus the 4 years at university, plus undergraduate degrees and all of that. So there's a lot of them,
Mhm.
and you overcome them.
You do. Yeah.
I recently did. What did you
So,
do? Did a leap of faith and turned out que de poisson. What's that? I'm disappointed about it. I want to evolve, but I have been hurt. Que
yeah.
de
So she
poisson
was,
is.
I think it was like a deceit sort of thing.
Oh, okay, okay.
Hmm. It's not what she expected.
Okay, let's go through that. This is a good question, and thank you for
Mhm.
asking, Betsy. So you jumped in, something came up, it wasn't up to your expectation, you're disappointed.
Mhm.
That's fine. You jumped into it. It's good. You took that leap of faith and you went in, and now you're going to do something, you're going to learn something, you're going to meet new people, and something is going to come out of it. Over the years, what I realized is that
Yep.
my negative experiences were platforms built on top of each other to get you somewhere.
Yeah.
They could have been disappointment, pain, anger, frustration, whatever it is. I built on all of them throughout the years. And I'm saying that because, okay, I'm just a bit old, 35, but not really. So I have years of experience, and those experiences have solidified my presence of where I am today. Let me see, what does it
Yeah.
say? I feel like fear being an immigrant is pushing me back to my old job, the slipper.
Okay.
That
So,
is okay. Let me say hello to the Facebook user. I'm not sure who that person is because it's not showing. It's
hello.
a favorite. Hi, and thank you for joining us. And Betsy, you
So,
wanted to say something, tennis? I'll let you go.
yeah. So I think looking at where the fear is coming from and what that is. Um, oh, it's Shem. Hi, Shem. Um, where is the fear coming from for you? Right? Doing the root cause analysis, finding out exactly where that fear is coming from. And I think, sometimes these things happen because you might not have moved on to what you really love or what you really want to do. And, if you had not, so, okay, so let me start again. So oftentimes what happens is we get pushed by spirit. So we get comfortable in a job. It may not be what we're supposed to be doing, but we're doing it because we're able and capable of doing it. But it may not be our purpose. We may not be on mission. So oftentimes we'll get nudged to do something differently. And then when we don't, we get nudged even harder. And then when we actually do it, sometimes we realize that we weren't supposed to be there. And sometimes it's, if something like this hadn't happened, would you have actually left the other job to do what you love? Right? So now it's not, I would invite you to look at what it is that you really want to do. And I know you and I have talked about this. So looking at what it is that you really want to do, this is your opportunity to create the life that you want, not the one that you've just been in default of. And it's not to say that you shouldn't go back to your other job. This is a reminder or a wake up thing to let you know that there's more out there, right? So it's more that you are now aware. It's like a lesson, right? You realize that there are other things that you can do and that you are able to leave the job, even if you take it back for now, right? Because it does take time to build businesses, just saying, right? Takes a lot of time and effort. And if money is a thing, then, you might have to get a job or some other job or whatever that is. But knowing that you have a goal to work towards something that you love to do can make a huge difference in your own personal energy and how you see things. Because there's a certain amount of us, like Ramsey started with, right? We get into fear and we stay in the same job because it's comfortable. What if we stayed in the same job only because it's comfortable? Not because it's making us happy, not because it's what we're meant to do, but we stay in the same job just because it's comfortable. Is that how you want to live? And that's the question. And maybe it is, because we're not all here to follow our dreams, right? So some of us are here just to learn that lesson in and of itself. And there's nothing wrong with that either. So some of us are here to work the steady, comfortable job, because that's what, and sometimes that makes you happy. And that's all you need for comfort, right? But some people need more. And sometimes they're here for a bigger purpose. And if that's the case, the guides are going to lead you there in whatever way they're meant to. Fear is in your throat. Yep. And that's okay. The courageous thing and strength come from feeling the fear and doing it anyway. Right? And that's not to say I'm not advocating for being reckless with money and everything. That's not, that you have a small child. Family has to come first. You have to pay your bills. Absolutely. Right? But knowing that just because you do something now, because you need the money, doesn't mean that that's where it stops. Just because if you do go back to your other job, let's just say you do. Just because you go back there now doesn't mean you have to be staying there. And you've already left it once. So you can do it. And sometimes we just need to show ourselves that there's other possibilities, that we're able to do more, we're capable of more. And it's a self-evolution in those cases, right? It's learning you're capable of. So, I don't know. That's what I'm hearing.
That's a good one. Before I give my 2 cents on the
Please.
question, I just want to shout out to Jen. Thank you very much for joining us. Another colleague of ours at the Twillo Lifestyle Academy.
Yes.
And I just want to point out a couple of things. No, that's not one. Okay, this is the one. Okay, one, I find we're hiding behind an excuse. Feel being an immigrant is pushing me back. You have to go back and ask yourself, why do you feel that? I'm an immigrant myself, so I can understand where that fear would come from. But is that fear justified? I'm not sure it is. And sometimes, because we're afraid to do other things, we hide behind the obvious ones, when the obvious ones have nothing to do with what we're doing. It has nothing to do with what's stopping us. So just love you, Dennis Arezzi.
We love you too.
Love you too. And the second one is that maybe it didn't come today, but it allowed you to, like Tanis was saying, it allowed you to understand or feel how it is to quit from your job and go back. It gave you that power that you had given away to someone else, to the ghost in the corner in a dark place. You gave it away, your power, so you became afraid of it, and it had control over you. And now, with what you've done, you have taken your power back.
That's right.
And since you hold the power now, you are able to do what you like to do through the position that you hold today.
So I just have to add something interesting.
Go ahead.
So right when you started talking, Ramsey, I looked at our time and it was 33:33. So I had to look it up on my phone, what the threes mean. And threes mean this, the ascended masters are right by you, assisting you with whatever it is that you're currently working on. You're in great hands. Okay. So that's for you, Betsy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because that came in right in the middle of all of that. So, okay. Sorry, I had to add that. It was just too there.
In your face. Here it is. Take it.
Yeah.
So do think about what we talked. I think it was an interesting topic
Mm-hmm.
because in the universe, nothing is created or destroyed. Everything is available for you, and it's right there. When you are ready to break out of your shell, when you have done the work that you needed to do to break out of that shell, it's right there. You can grab it and run with it. You don't even need to run. You can walk. So I have faith. Don't worry about it. I think you're on the right track.
I think you're going to swagger, not just walk.
Yeah. Good to see you both, Facebook user. And we have another Facebook user says, hello, beautiful souls. Sorry, for some reason, it doesn't show the names. But
so that happens when it's in one of our groups, because our groups are private groups. So they don't show up with names in here.
Ramsey survived his southern adventure. Oh, okay. I survived a lot of things.
Oh, it's Michelle Marie. Hello. Hello.
I'm okay. Where is it? It's
Michelle,
hey Michelle.
Hello. And we have Sabrina. Hello, Sabrina.
And Rachel.
See you. Thank you. Yes, Rachel too. Hello.
Hey,
and we
everyone.
have a big note from Jen, which
I'm gonna read it, but it was too long. I said let's go to the hellos first.
Yes.
They were faster. Nothing is good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Shakespeare. When we step out of the mind, we can tap into intuition. Beautifully said.
Yes.
Which sometimes tells us to stay, sometimes tells us to move, and sometimes tells us to wait. When we listen, we move into flow. But even if we
don't listen, if we don't listen, we haven't missed out. We just have an opportunity to learn and to try to listen again. It's all just experience. Very well said. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you. And Betsy, I'm getting the chills. That's awesome.
There you go. Awesome. You know that's your sign, girl.
Yeah. Hi, Facebook user.
Hello.
And we have one more. How can I cry? I'm very upset that I'm going on tour next week. I have throat pain. I really don't want to go. Okay.
Okay, this is Rachel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
how can you cry? I would say it's not necessarily crying that you want to do, but I can feel your throat pain actually. I think it's that you want to do a dive into why you're so upset that you're going. So sitting down and doing the 5 whys would be a good exercise for you. So why are you upset that you're going on tour? What is that bringing up for you? And if you go to the 5 whys, right, 5 layers of why, you'll likely get to a base fear. And that fear is what you need to look at. And so I know that you and I have talked about the Ho'oponopono. So when you get to a little closer to the base of that, I would invite you to use the Ho'oponopono on whatever it is that is triggering you, because that's going to help you to face that a little bit more. Okay. And Ramsey's feeling your throat as well.
I'm actually feeling her stomach.
You're feeling
my
her
God, it's knotted. There's a lot of anxiety, and I feel you have trapped yourself. The image that I see, you're behind barbed wires, and you can't touch the wires, so you can't cross to the field. and the field is right next to you, and you're just sitting there and holding. Yeah, my son hurts as well. Of course, it hurts because mine is hurting.
Yeah. I feel it
So,
right here.
um,
Yeah. So
you're resisting something major, major,
Rachel's
major, major.
Rachel's in the forces, and so it's a difficult situation that she's in
Yeah.
that sense. And so, um, you know, we just have to work with where we're at.
What? You can take a run. If you can go walk with the dog in the park right now, that would be awesome. I don't know, it's
She
late
does have a
maybe.
dog.
Oh, yes.
Yes, Ollie. Go take
And
Ollie for a walk.
yes, that will release some of the stress because that's the only thing I could feel right now. And once it calms down, allow things to. I may have found an apartment. I thought in New York, so that's positive. That is awesome. That is awesome. Things are moving the way you want them to go. They're moving in the direction. Oh, you just took him out, but take him out again because my stomach is hurting so much. I can't imagine what you're going through.
And we're going to send you some healing after the show.
Yes, we will do that
We
definitely.
will.
And do realize that things are moving your way. Maybe not at the pace that you were looking for, but they're getting there.
Mhm.
They're getting there at a painful process because you can't even breathe.
Mhm.
And whew.
Well, go get those amethysts, please, that you put in your water yesterday. Hold on
Yeah.
to those in your left hand. That's your receiving hand. That's going to help to calm you a little bit. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, please follow those instructions because they do help you.
Yeah.
And I know you're on the right track. I know, like, I got signs for you when I didn't know that you were looking for them. So have no worries. If you have to go on the tour, just flow with it. I can't breathe and finally got rid of nicotine completely. It's a miracle.
Awesome.
It
It's
is
not great that
wonderful.
you're not breathing, but it's great that you got rid of the nicotine.
Yeah, that's why I can't breathe. I felt that, and that's why I'm saying is that if you can go back out again into nature. I don't know how cold it is where you are, and if you have a snowstorm right now, then don't go out. Just walk from the living room to the dining room, hug a plant, and grab the dog.
Yeah.
But I
Get some
think
Ollie there.
that will help you release some of the stress. And you
Chamomile
need
tea
to,
is
yeah.
coming through for me.
Oh, now I feel better.
You had to tell her.
I had to tell you this, yes. And the nicotine part, it wasn't a miracle. It
It was
was
hard
time.
work.
Yeah. It was hard work,
Hard
but it
work,
was the
and
right
you should
time
be
for
proud
it.
of yourself for that.
Yes.
Not just a
Good job.
miracle. You did great.
Good job. And this is the amazing part. You two are amazing. Thank you so much, Betsy. Thank you.
Thanks, honey. You got a rash. It was time.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So hope it got better now, and you're moving on. Your system is just clearing it out.
Yeah.
The nicotine
That's
was
what I
part
said.
of your problem. All right. Did I miss anybody else? Sorry, because we went.
Nope. I think you're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Oh, I'm a runner. Let's go. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. Yes, that's a beautiful combination. Chamomile and mint.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah.
And I think you that will help you also if you use them now. If you have that will help you release some of the stress.
Yeah. Yeah. Chamomile tea. We're sending it back to Ollie. Lots of love, Ollie.
Love.
Love, Ollie.
And hi to Sabrina with
Hi to Sabrina.
hearts. Thank you for being on. So, oh my God, that was strong. So that's what happens to us. We tend to hold fear in different forms, and we're not sure what it is. Part of them, part of them are masked through either smoking or eating or whatever that. Sorry. Sorry
You're
to
not.
be Debbie
It's
Downer.
all
I'm
good.
okay. No,
It's all good.
please. It's all good.
We're here for
I
is
love it.
support. That's
So
our mission is supporting people. So it's all good. It's all good.
100%.
Mhm.
So we tend to mask those things with either eating or smoking or drinking. Drinking is good, but
We all
I don't
have
want to go to the what do you call it, the commercials that I did in the UK, but we tend to do that unconsciously.
Yeah.
We also do dangerous stuff to mask the pain that we have. Why do people go on roller coaster rides? Not because it's fun. It's because the stress that it creates is greater than the stress that we have during the day, that it makes you feel better. You know,
I had not thought of it that way.
You,
I thought people actually liked it. I don't. But
I don't.
I thought people liked it.
You know, I was in what do you call it? What was it? Oh my God, Sin City,
Las Vegas?
Yes, and they had one on the roof of a building, one of the casinos. And we were a group of guys, and I go, they wanted to go, and everybody's so excited. And I go, I'll hoard your phones and your jackets and whatever it is, and I'll sit over here because I don't need excitement in my life. I don't need extra stress to relieve me from my stress. I can handle my own. I wouldn't go up. Nah, that's not me.
Everybody's different, though, right? So everybody has their own likes and dislikes, and people tend to do. It's true. People tend to do things. Fear can mask other emotion to the point that if you feel enough fear, you almost shut yourself off.
Yeah.
Right? And so sometimes people will do things that are scary to them just so they feel something. Because it needs to be extreme for them to feel something.
Yeah.
Right? Because they aren't able to express how they're feeling. Or they've hidden it so deeply that they don't know even what it is anymore. Mm-hmm. And they're just not in touch with their emotional side or their emotional being. Right?
They're disconnected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so people find sometimes if they're doing something really daring, that they feel that adrenaline is like they feel alive with it. And really probably a healthier way is to start to get in touch with those emotions and start to do that healing work and start bringing it up and going, okay, yeah, there's that emotion. All right. Yep, that sucks. Don't like how that feels, but okay. Allow yourself to feel it, right? Let it be for a moment or two or whatever it needs to be. And then release, consciously release, right? A little bit at a time. That's the healing journey. We're never done, by the way. We all do this regularly.
Yeah. Which is what you said is absolutely true. When you walk through your fears, they're uncomfortable at the beginning. You might feel tension somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
It will release certain things. Images, feelings, memories will come up.
Mm-hmm.
Just bless them and let them go. Don't hold on to anything. And continue that journey. and slowly, you actually blend with the fear, and the fear just goes away. There's nothing left. It's like I used to have fear of dogs because I got bitten by a dog. I was 9 years old,
Mhm.
and I love dogs, but because of that bite, and I still have marks on my hand and my arm. I used to cross streets when I see a dog coming. So imagine at the age of 14, you were in England where you have dog. No, I wasn't 14. I was like maybe 11, um, and they have a lot of dogs. And I'm not used to dogs. And then you jump from one side to the street to the other, but there's another dog over there, so you have to jump back, and it's just a stressful process. And then we were given a dog because the family had to leave when we were later on in life. I was 17, 18. It was a German Shepherd. Like you can get bigger than that, but it was a big bloody thing. It was a beast.
Mhm.
And that's how I got over my fear of dogs. Because that image of that dog biting me with all the pain just doesn't have a hold on me afterwards. Because I have this big beast that is extremely gentle, and no matter what I did, he wouldn't bite me. He will grab my arm and move it aside and lick it, because that's what dogs are. They're just pure love. That's what they are. So you walk into your fear and you get out of it unscratched. Oh,
And that's kind of like, that goes back to what we were saying about the 1%, right?
yeah.
It's that 1% of a dog that bit you. And then your programming, because of the pain that you experienced, you painted all dogs with the programming.
Yeah.
Right? So then you were missing out on saying
Absolutely.
hello to all those dogs on either side of the street.
What was it?
Oh,
0.05.
Yes, it's probably less than 1%. You're right.
So yes, fear is a killer of joy.
It is.
It's a killer of life. The more, and what moves us in life is pain and pleasure. But what stops us is the fear of crossing over. So it's like a barrier that sits there and doesn't allow. So you sit in your pain. You actually, it's like I know it's not a real thing, but everybody uses it. It's the frog. You put a frog in a cold water and you turn on the stove, and slowly the frog will say, "Oh yeah, I can tolerate it. I'll just change a bit or wiggle or do something." And then when it gets too hot, it'll be too hard for the frog to jump out, and it dies. Mm-hmm. So that's what happens to us. Mm-hmm. Our fear keeps us there. I'm happy. Don't talk to me. I'm happy.
And we're really good at lying to ourselves.
Awesome.
Right?
Oscar.
Really good at lying to ourselves because we want to be comfortable.
Oscar. I'm telling you, the Oscar.
Yeah.
The mind is responsible for the feeling of pleasure and pain. Control the mind as the highest yoga. Absolutely.
Sivananda. Yeah. Yeah.
And that comes in attachments.
Yeah.
Which is that's the fear, because you're attached. I missed that point, or we both missed it. But we lie to ourselves
because we want to be comfortable. Yep.
Absolutely.
And change is uncomfortable. So to stay the same keeps us comfortable.
Yeah. Saying, we all love change, but we don't like to be changed. We'll cheer for it as long as it's outside.
Don't make me do it. But I like the concept.
The concept is beautiful.
But don't make me do it because I'm human.
Yeah.
We don't want to do that. That would be like,
I want to stay where I am. I like everything. I'm attached to it. I don't take anything away from me. It's like you know, if I take the past 100 years and how human beings evolved through time, and then women started to vote, and then which wasn't acceptable. Then they went into the workforce, which wasn't acceptable. I think that the 60s they were teaching women how to what to do when your husband comes home. There was courses at university, you know, and I saw the book somewhere. I can't remember who showed it to me. You know, when your husband walks in, make sure that you prepare a drink for him, bring him the slippers. Don't nag him with the stuff of your daily things that happen, and so on and so forth. But we were like that, and it took us a while to change.
Mhm.
Slowly, we changed,
But we did.
but we did. Rock and roll walked in, and oh my God, the devil, you know.
Yes.
They moved their hips. Now we're like half naked on TV, and it's okay. We change, we evolve, and we move forward. And if we don't, we get stuck and we rot. Water that doesn't move rots.
Go
It
stagnant.
smells. What do you call it?
Now,
Bacteria.
I just want to stop you here because
Go ahead.
don't be calling our listeners rotten water. You're saying if they stagnate, they're rotten water.
I said, if we sit where we are,
Yes.
it's like the rot. It's like water. It just
Right.
creates bacteria and it dies. If we sit where we are and we don't move forward, I'm not comparing. I'm not trying. Okay, I'll change that into something else. Blah 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 blah. So
I'm being clear. He's not calling you rotten water. Just to be
Nope.
clear.
But you have to move. If you don't move, we die.
We get
It's very
stagnant.
simple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we get stagnant.
Yeah. I didn't want to bring down the patriarchy.
We've done a pretty good job of that. You know, there's still more to work to do, of course. I think that, you know, I'm pretty proud of us in that sense as a society. When we look at all of the change that we've made, I mean, a lot of times we're so focused on where we want it to be that we lose track of all the progress that we've actually done, you know, and we don't celebrate far enough. We all need to celebrate way more than what we do, you know, because we get more with honey than vinegar, right? So why not celebrate the good changes that we've made and focus on that? Because that's where your energy, where your focus goes is where the energy flows. So let's focus on all of those beautiful things that we have accomplished as a society. Yeah, that is unfortunate. I think that, you know, a lot of the stuff. So, okay, so let's just talk about this quickly because one, I don't really want to get into a lot of political stuff because yes, there are things that absolutely suck. Okay. And I'm not disputing that in any way. What I am saying though is the way that we all handle it is where we need to focus. How are we going to handle that? Because what happens is right now we're in a time. All of this light is coming in. And this happens on an individual level and as a society. Okay. All of this light is coming in. As the light comes in, there's no room for the darkness to hide anymore. So all of that darkness has to come up to the surface to be seen because that is the only way to clear it. And so these things that are coming to the surface, okay? So all of this attitude that we've had, all of this, the negative stuff that's come up to the surface, you know, I mean, we could get into all sorts of stuff, right? The human trafficking, the abortion laws, the you know, the racism, sexual harassment, all of that stuff. As those issues come forward in our society, they're coming up to be seen. which means it's coming up to clear it as an energy. It's not pleasant, and we don't want the stuff around. It doesn't mean we want it around, but we do need to shed light on it, because if this stuff is under the surface, it's still there. The only way to clear it is to bring it up into our awareness so that we can choose how we want to feel about it. You know, most of the stuff we've talked about is stuff that we don't want, and that's how we feel about it, right? But if we didn't even know it was there, it just was, we're still feeling the energy of it, whether we know it or not. So in many ways, you know, it's how everybody's going to deal with these things as they're coming up that's making a difference. And I know for that particular thing, there have been riots and all sorts of stuff. And that's how we're bringing awareness, right?
And we also have to bring awareness through education.
Yes.
Rather than through fight. You can never
Yes.
solve a problem with the energy of the problem itself.
Exactly.
And I fully agree with what you said. And we need to bring in light to it.
Yeah.
So that it clears. It's been festering for such a long time that it just came out.
Yeah.
And trauma has been coming up for me and others. I think that's a collective need to heal and release. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So
Absolutely.
it happens on the global scale, and it also happens to us individually.
Yeah.
So, you know, any of our past traumas, you'll notice that people are getting really triggered lately along the way. You know, somebody will totally lose it on you at the grocery store for no reason.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with you, by the way. It's all their stuff. It's their trauma coming up. It's their fear.
So you want to change the world? Start by working on yourself. That's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
No one could change the world. The idea is beautiful. Everybody tried to do it and they failed miserably. The only way you can change the world is by changing yourself. And when you change yourself, the world starts to change because the world starts to mimic you.
That's right. It works both
One
ways.
person at a time, and we'll get to that tipping point where we will all change all at once. And it's coming. It's painful. It's coming.
So my question to you is, what are you doing? What are you doing to change the world? It doesn't have to be a lot. It can be doing your ho'oponoponos in the mirror. It can be kindness and compassion.
Mhm.
The little things matter. The little things matter.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And on that note, we passed the hour. I want to thank everybody who joined us, all of you, our teachers at the Academy who jumped in and said hello and shared a lot. Thank you all. To our listeners, please do check out our lifestyle, the Twillo Lifestyle Academy. We have a lot of courses happening over there.
Yep.
There are a lot of things that you can do or benefit from in order to bring the light into your heart, not to the world,
Just you.
just you. Thank you. We love you too,
We love you
Michelle.
too, Michelle. Lots of love.
So do check us out. Till next time, thank you very much and have a pleasant evening or day. And don't forget, come have a virtual coffee with myself at ramseycheaty.net or with Tanis at twillowlifestyle.ca.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.